what a week. I'm alive until I need the next 3,000 mile oil change, apparently. Had to go to the emergency room and stay in the hospital for fluids and to flush my system. Met a very arrogant doctor. Because we're in the boondocks, we have the shuffling cycle of doctors. So thank God the nurses stepped up and were like, no, we know this lady. Because the doctor looked at me and he said, I've never met anyone with this level of pancreatitis that doesn't have an alcohol issue. And I said, really? I've never met anyone that went to school for 8 to 12 years that's an idiot. But I guess we're both learning things today. He did not like me after that. But you know something? Do not play with me when I'm in pain. Thankfully, the nurses stepped up and were like, yo, doc, we've known her for decades. She, used to work in the prison and jail system, and she's really good. She's not lying. She has a horrible issue. So he got educated on RSD and also said that the deep vein pain I was feeling was my Raynaud's jumping in because of the weather. So, do I get a trophy? Jesus? A trophy? Participation ribbon? Didn't we do that? Start doing that now? Yeah, but it was a rough week. And then as soon as I got home and got settled, my husband's engine locked up in his truck. I mean, what would life be without trials? It is an 83 Chevy hardbody. And he won't part with it, so thank God for junkyards and mechanically inclined sons who are going to get it back on the road. It'll just be a while. It's okay. It's just, life. Anyway, in the meantime, when I got home, I was really puny for a couple days, and then Ryan put this out on the internet. And as soon as I saw the title, I was like, well, you better not. And then I thought, surely he's yanking our leg, so I watched it. Sure enough, he was yanking our leg. But he said some stuff that I thought was really good, so let's go through this.
You thought I was leaving. Isn't that cute? You can't get rid of me that quick. Fuck it.
Good.
Now, I know there's a lot of people here from my apology video of me not saying an apology at all whatsoever. And if you're new here, there's 2 things you need to know about me. 1, if I give a fuck about something, I really give a fuck about it. 2, if I don't give a fuck about something, I really don't give a fuck about something. And with all these new people coming in, I don't think they understand me. I don't think they understand that the way my thought process is and the environment that I choose to keep myself in has kept my common sense and my common decision making to a bare minimum, if that makes sense. It's more simplistic. It has nothing to do with well, how are we gonna say this, or how are we gonna tell the media?
It's not a bad thing.
Around here we don't do that.
We don't do that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like him so much, is that even though he's got a little fame and notoriety, he's still very much a country boy. He's still very much going to look at it with the chicken and the egg scenario and kind of use his wits and heel knowledge, as I would call it, to kind of figure people out. Now, there's a lot that people can call people from Appalachia and the South, but stupid is not one. We are normally very, very much in tune with other people. I think our sixth sense is a little bit more active than other people because we still live in an area to where we are very grounded. We use the earth. We plant our gardens. We put up our food. We hunt our meat. And so I think this kind of lends itself to a little bit more honesty in our interactions with people. And we can see them a little clearer because of that. And I always loved it when I was working, when people would come in and try to just they would just try to blow smoke up my honey and mow me over. And I would just sit there and look at it and be like, my grandpa raised me with mules. So, good luck. I don't know if any of y'all ever been, worked a mule, but you will learn a lot of patience and how to read people, because mules will lie to you. They will hang on to a grudge for 15 years so they can get you back. They're the most inquisitive yet biggest turds I've ever met, and they will challenge you in every way possible. And if you can get along with a mule for 30 days, you can legit get along with anyone in the world. I often told my parolees that I think punishment should be like being affixed to a mule for a month. Because if that mule don't kill you, you will come out a better person. Because if you're not a good person by the end of it, the mule will have killed you. So I always get tickled, but that's kind of my philosophy. I think hill people are smart people. And that's something that I really, really respect in this boy. And he goes on to say he lives a life uncommon, which is something I always wanted to do too. I always wanted to be kind of the quirky, weird one that sought their own path. And that has been a great thing in many ways, and a, it's great because I've been able to help a lot of people in my area. It's also a catch-22 because when you step out of your comfort zone, the people in your area kind of look at you and go, ugh. So you have people that really like you and you have people that really don't. And I think that may be why he goes back and says, I either really care or I really don't. I'm sure that he feels that and he gives that in return.
A man with a very uncommon life, which is why I think this is so fun to me. This whole, the people in the comments and stuff, it's like going to the gym for me.
Yeah,
it's like, I really like the mind games. The mind games make me
I don't
happy.
mind mind games.
Like the kind of person I am.
Keeps it fresh.
You know, you see a lot of celebrities over the year have broken down and have done crazy stuff like shave their head, like go ballistic on the internet, make these videos of them like totally breaking down on camera to show everyone. That's never gonna happen with me because I haven't stuck myself in an environment.
I'm gonna stop right here and say yet. Because we don't ever say famous last words. Don't ever dictate the remainder of your life while it's not yet lived. Because something will come back and bite you in the tushy, young man. Do you have an eyeliner underneath your eyes? Do you have an It looks like you have an eyeliner right here. No fault. It looks good. If that's eyeliner, it looks great. But don't dictate your life before it's over because you know something? Something will pop up and show your honey and just exactly how much you don't have any control. And it will be the most unpleasant experience of your life because I was very much in control and had life going. I had, even through the hiccup of a divorce and having to raise 2 kids of my own and getting remarried, I still got through college, got my master's, and got to work and got my career started. It was very highly respected, and then boom, health, neuromuscular disorder, caved it all in. So never get comfortable and never brag about where you think you are mentally, emotionally, physically beyond others because somebody will take you from the main race and push you in the Special Olympics and it will be unpleasant. That's the simplest way to put it. It will hurt. So I'm just going to say yet. So, you know something? But I have faith in you, Ryan. I have faith in you. I do. Y'all are so lucky I have on makeup today and clothes because I have lived in pajamas for a week. No, 9 days. About 9 days. I'm just saying, I've lived in pajamas and yeah, hi honey, don't worry. I'll be in my penguin PJs by the time you get home. It's okay. You only see me looking like a train wreck anyway. Anyway, let's see what else Ryan has to say.
Influencers, some of them are singers, some of them are rappers, asking me and telling me, bro, how do you deal with the comment section? How do you deal with what people say? How do you deal with trying to figure out what to say after this person says what they say? Here's what you do. You don't care what that person says.
You don't.
And I know there's going to be plenty of people in the comments, oh, if you didn't care, you wouldn't be making this video. No. You can see the expression on my face. The stuff that is said to me does not bother me. I've been dealing with it for so many years that it's just become a game to me, in a sense. But
it's sad,
some
though,
of these other people who
I
are
understand.
just now experiencing this type of behavior and it affecting their personal life, this is why I make the video. Because you never know. Hell, 1,000 people watching this video right now in the next 2 years could be famous. They could be going through this shit.
Well, I'm not going to be going through that because I'm not going to be famous. I might not even be alive. But I am here right now, so I'm going to give my reaction to that. I really don't care what people will say either because I want to have my opinion, and I have worked so long to form my opinion, and I feel so disrespectful when people jump on my 2 cents that I look at them when they give me their 2 cents, and I'm like, even if I don't like that, I know it probably took you a long time to shape it, even as faulty as I may think your viewpoint is, and I'm going to let you have that. Now, last week I had somebody tell me that if I could do a 6 to 10 minute video every few days or once a week or twice a month on YouTube that I could certainly earn an income. I thought that was just ignorance personified. And because of that, I'm starting to do more to let you see more of the health issue. Because I don't believe that person was being nasty to me. I believe they were being completely ignorant of the situation. Probably a young person that doesn't understand what life can hand you, like right smack when you don't want it handed to you. So I'm going to do more to share the real scenarios of my life. And as you all saw last week, that's how quickly my life can change. I can be healthy one day, and within 12 hours go to being in the hospital, hooked up on IVs and machines, and them telling me it doesn't look good. Your pancreas, you need to, prepare. And I'm sitting here going, it's how it's my normal now. It's how I live. And so to have somebody come in and out of ignorance make that statement ticked me off. But normally just random thought processes and opinions about things that everybody gets to have an opinion about doesn't bother me. And I just let it flow. I don't really care. But I also understand that when people come at me aggressively, that when people come at you with anger, it's a defense mechanism. So when they're mad, they're doing so because they have nothing else. They have nothing else to throw up at you. They have no facts, no knowledge, no way to represent themselves, in a positive verbal fashion. So they bring out the animal emotion, and they press the anger, and they press the aggressiveness, and they think that this is a communicative approach, but it's actually a combative approach. And people get that mixed up all the time. So when people get really mad at me, instead of wanting to pop my neck and go right back at them, which I on occasion have done, but for most of the time I look at them and I go, so what happened to you that when people say this phrase or do this, you learn to respond that way? Because whatever happened was wrong, and I'd like to help you through that. Because I think you're better than reverting to aggression to try to communicate. And most of the time they'll be like, what? I'm not. And then by the time they realize that they are mad and they have showed their true colors and they have made a complete giant turd of themselves. But also there's the 5% that just have no clue. And I really think those are the keyboard warriors on YouTube. I think they just sit around and I don't know. In my head, they sit around with a can of Cool Whip and a thesaurus, just trying to keep their energy up and create the most horrible vitriol that they can spew out of their mouth. And I just see them, using just as soon as they do something that they think they can hurt somebody, ready whip and go to the next one. It's like a reward system for them, because you get that dopamine hit when, you do get a dopamine hit. You get that adrenaline rush when you are an asshole. So you can get addicted to being an asshole. And I think we have about 5% of the population that's addicted to being an asshole. And that's the people you see down in the comment section. I tried to use logic. Sometimes logic doesn't work. Sometimes you have to detach and go on. But I've dealt with a little bit of hate in the comment section. I've had some private messages about our lifestyle, my husband's fur trapping and our hunting, and I just have to go, something, it would matter to me if you lived my lifestyle and if you understood the dynamic. But if you don't understand the dynamic, that is just coming from a place of ignorance, and until you choose to accept this knowledge or this understanding, I can't help you acclimate and understand why this is important to me. So I'm going to walk away. If it becomes important to you later, please choose to positively contact me and we will talk about it. I don't think that happens a lot when you're famous, because I think people see you as a giant piñata that they can just push in. And there's two ways I think people treat people that are famous. They either suck up to you so bad that you don't know why they're there. You're constantly questioning why they're there. Or they use you as a piñata to justify whatever they've got going on internally, to put themselves on the top layer because they feel so neglected or underrepresented in some fashion. And they just don't treat celebrities like people. And I just, as much as I love the music scene and the lifestyle that I get to watch through Ryan, I enjoy getting to see him enjoy his earnings. I enjoy getting to see him experience things that I will never experience in life. I enjoy getting to see a good old boy from Tennessee do these things. But I also know at the end of the day, he just, he eats shits and pisses just like everybody else. And he's just a young man doing moderately better than most of us, but still trying to get through the world. And there's pitfalls to it, and there's hardships, and everybody has personal hardships, personal battles, personal deficits. And boy, when you're famous, they're under a magnifying glass. And that's why I can sit here from my home and make videos that he will respond to and be like, I see this red flag, I see this red flag. I want to help you do this. And I keep it just vague enough to where it doesn't create a dialogue that is inappropriate, but it gives him some things to to think about. And this week was interesting because I got to fiddle around more on the internet because I was bedbound most of the week. And I saw a lot of little snippets with him and the Miss Arbor. And while I literally at this point, when you're in a go-kart going downhill, fixing to hit your homemade ramp, and you want to pump your brakes just to make yourself feel better, and then you realize the brakes have given. That's how I feel every time he goes into a relationship right now. I'm sorry, Ryan. It is. I'm holding my breath, and I just literally got a pucker factor of 25 for you. It worries me. But I will say that I've seen some positive things in the videos. I've seen in the videos where they've been together that he has been much more assertive. He has been much more of a dominating figure in the videos, and instead of focusing the limelight on her and being in the background, he's been like, here we are doing this, and he's given himself just as much top billing as he's given her. And you know something? She has smiled the whole time. And that makes me understand that they're okay sharing the limelight. They're okay putting themselves both out there and understanding a balance. That makes me feel, okay, so I have some confidence. But I've not seen enough videos, enough consistency of her behavior to know how I really feel about her. Now, I really like the work she does. I really like her. I really like her sarcasm and wit. I really like the way she can zing people. But that's her persona. I don't know how much of that she takes back into her personal self. So let's just see how this progresses. I think they're terribly cute together. I think, I think she's gorgeous. I think she's beautiful. Of course, I've never seen you date anybody ugly. So, but I really think she's beautiful. And I think this has some potential for a balancing effect. And she's very assertive, but I've seen in the videos that she's very willing to be submissive. That balance is going to be so important, because I think what he's missed in some other things has been the balance, especially at the beginning, where he just, turns into the forlorn little puppy following the love of his life, or the big ginormous buck and rut that gets so jazzed up about the females he forgets about the hunters and all the trees. So I'm hoping this is a better balance. We shall see.
I have destroyed hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cars. For what?
See, this is
somebody
growth.
said. Not only what somebody said, what someone said who's not in this room right now. They're not in my yard right now. They're not in this county right now. They're not in
not in
this
your life.
state right now. Some of them aren't even in this country right now. So what someone who didn't know anything about me, has no say-so in my life, had to say through digital text,
It could be really, really mean.
Be angry in my actual life. Why?
It made you act out. Well, it made you act out because you got defensive and you felt you needed to defend yourself, and you've learned what I just said 5 minutes ago, that you can't defend yourself against pure ignorance. And people that are not willing to pull in an understanding of your life, your personality, your persona, your balance, you're dysfunctional. We're all dysfunctional on some level, so don't say you're not. I'm heavily dysfunctional in many ways. That's another conversation we need to get into, I'd say. But the more readily you admit that, the easier it is to accept it in others and work with others as well. And people that don't accept it in others have a very difficult time accepting it in themselves as well. So they lash out. So when you would get angry, not only did they not understand you, but you didn't understand them. You didn't understand they were coming from a place of ignorance. You thought it really meant something, and you lashed out, and you learned that that did not hurt anybody but you. You know, like you said, they're not even there. How does that impede their behavior when it has absolutely no way to touch them? You can't even send the energy to them. They're not even, like you said, even possibly in the country. They're just, sometimes you have to detach and move on. But understand that when you respond in anger, it's a defense mechanism. And so when you start to get angry, instead of saying, oh, they made me so mad, go, why am I scared right now? I'm angry because I'm scared. What is scaring me? What has triggered me in this scenario? And you will always figure out what has gotten under your saddle, what bird's gotten under your saddle. This is so much growth because, you know, last year, year and a half ago, been another poo flinging day in the jungle, I believe. I think he's grown so much in such a short amount of time, and it's been forced, so it's been painful, but it's been good. It's been great. I think it's going to give him a better foundation for the next relationship, the next music venture, the next big thing. And I think it's going to help him establish a better balance at home as well. And, you know, no matter how famous you get, if you do not have a foundation at home, you do not have anything. That foundation at home is everything. Everything. And I really appreciate that he enjoys what I have to say and responds to my videos. And he doesn't get mad at me. I try to never say anything that would make him mad. And I've let him know that if I say things that would ever make him mad, I will remove them immediately. Because that is not what I wish to do. I don't wish to cut down this communication that we have created. But this is something I enjoy. It lets me feel a little bit useful. It lets me feel a little bit helpful. And I really honestly do, like, he's so similar to my own son that it's just like, you know, it's just strange. I don't know, it's just strange. So I have a very mama bear feeling about him and his career, and I want to see him do well. And, you know, and it may be where I'm completely bored and at home and disabled and have just taken some kind of unhealthy attachment. I may need to look into that. Let's put that one on the to-do list. But I also think that I think I'm just lucky to have found somebody that I believe is younger than me, that is wise beyond his years, and has the ability to shape our, not even just our demographic, but, you know, possibly the world with his lyrics and his thought pattern and the way he projects his thoughts. And I think that's just a magical thing. So I'm really invested emotionally in helping his words go beyond our demographic. So it's, you know, it's fun for me, and I appreciate the little feedback and the little likes he does. It, you know, it makes me feel good to know that he is out there. He does listen. And I know he does, and I appreciate. I got some help with Instagram the other day from somebody, and I just really appreciate that. Yeah, so I hope that he finds this video useful too. But I do want you to think about the next time you're angry. Step back and go, what is scaring me? And I know that you're not throwing furniture anymore like you used to, because that's what you're telling us. But when you still feel your bristles grow up, when you still feel, you know, that anger rise up, instead of jumping on that anger momentum and jumping on that train and following it, step back and go, why am I scared? What is scaring me? Because 99% of the time, anger is a defense mechanism because something has scared you. And you would not believe what can scare us to make really, really, really irrational decisions. It can be very simple things. So, something to think about, y'all.
There at all. I've done some pretty fucking dumb shit. So that's what we're doing.
Life.
We're living and we're learning. And you're not gonna know everything until the day you die. You're not gonna know everything that you should know.
Even then.
It's whether you give up or not. If you give up, well, you didn't do your best, dude. If you don't give up and you keep trucking through it, then dude, at least when you're gone, you tried and did as much as you could. to better yourself.
Yep, keep moving forward.
You know? 21-year-old me is not 29-year-old me. They're two separate people. It's whether you choose to let go of the old person and advance some things about yourself to become this new person.
That is so important, because people have this idea of who they need to grow into, and they somewhat limit themselves in that emotional and physical journey because they think they're supposed to grow into this person. And so when I was 14, 15, I thought I had to grow into this person that had been projected by my family, who was, you know, I thought I needed to be, you know, prominent in the church and have a huge outreach of just, you know, charitable work, and have never had a negative interaction in my entire life, and have kept a positive momentum, and to have been a role model for everybody, you know. And I got to about 19 and I was like, what the crap is this? And I realized really quickly that growing is messy. Growing into an adult is the messiest time of your life. I tell my children from 18 to 24, it's like one huge brain fart. Literally, that was where my whole first marriage was too. So, you know, let's just put that in that category too. But it's just, you don't know yourself, and you're changing so rapidly every day that you literally are a new person every day. And so, guys, if I can tell you anything, it's to be very lenient with yourself when you're growing up. Do not put that expectation of who you need to be and who you need to look like and how you need to behave, and set these concrete goals for yourself when you're so young, because you don't know yourself yet. Oh my gosh. If 14-year-old me could see me now with all my tattoos and some of my purple hair scenarios, and some of the conversations I've had with murderers and rapists and sex offenders, and the 14, 15-year-old me would be like, excuse me, I need to go over here, and I'm going to hide in the corner. And, you know, and I'm so glad that I'm not that person anymore. But growing away from that fairy tale I had in my head was painful. It was painful. But I'm also very thankful that I didn't end up that way. Now that I'm older and I understand that that would have been a very empty life compared to what I have to offer. And even though I had a short career, I touched thousands of people's lives. I mean, people that still, when I used to leave my house, we don't leave our house anymore, but when I used to leave my house, every time I left my house, I would have so many people hug me, thank me, show me love and respect because of how I had treated their family with the same. And I really made that imprint on the community and the communities I worked with in the way I wanted to. But it took a completely different trip around the world than what I saw at 14, 15. And, you know, he made his money when he was in a phase where most people don't know their butt from a hole in the ground. Let's just be honest. Most of us are still tripping over crushes when we're that age. He made his money young. He did this brilliant thing young. He followed his dream young. So there's going to be some things maybe he's going to do that are going to be backwards from how 95% of society would do it. So, you know, most of us will go through the relationship trauma at a very young age and then stabilize later. It looks like he's going to stabilize young and maybe go through the relationship trauma now. But that's okay. That's your journey. Just don't fix into concrete who you think you need to be, because you need to be flexible. Because who you may need to be in 20 years may not even reflect who you are today. And the journey is always going to be worth it. And as long as you have an open heart and a positive momentum, you're going to find the people along the way that are going to help keep you honest. And sometimes we latch on to the people that we shouldn't. And the break-aparts are difficult. But we still grow. We still grow in those moments. So don't, even if you have a bad couple of years, there's still so much that you've learned and so much that you've grown from that. Don't discredit your crap ups. Nope. I mean, it's impossible to walk through a cow pasture without stepping in poop. Life is one big cow pasture. Sometimes when you get home, you just have to go to the water hose and hose your boots off. And other days, you get through it a little bit better. I think you're doing good. I think Ryan's doing great. And I think he does some things backwards to how social construct and social norms would say we're to do them. but I also think that that's just how he does things. So, you know something? Be you.
In the last month, so I don't think that matters either. They don't like who you choose to be friends with. Not their friends. You know what you do? You turn this off, and you get back to you, and you simply go do you. Whatever you feel like doing, go do it. Don't be like, oh, well, shit, I wonder what this person will think about me doing that, and I wonder what they'll say on the internet about me doing. Stop it. Just fucking stop. Okay? It's okay to have a normal portion of your life. It's okay to be a common person with an uncommon life. If you're an uncommon person with an uncommon life, you're going to have very uncommon things happen to you.
Well, and it's okay to be any juxtaposition of those words. It's okay to be a plain person in a plain life, a common person in a common role. That's completely okay. Some people, that is their calling. You know, Lord, if it wasn't for the 95% of society that just tucks their head and does what is right, even at their own demise sometimes, where would the world be? Where would we have... Look, think of the wars we wouldn't have gotten through, the people that wouldn't have been overthrown, and where we might have been without those people that just accepted that my role in this world is to be a number to be used against this grave injustice. I think about that all the time. People that went to war and died at, 19, 20, 21. And people want to say, well, they didn't get to live. But yet I'm 43 and I think they quite possibly lived much more than I ever have. So I don't think, I don't think any combination of any of those words creates a negative. I think we all have different callings and we all have different things that we need to be to ourselves and to other people. And whatever you need to be is whatever you choose. Whatever you choose is what you need to be. And we can't allow other people to dictate that. My mother, God love her heart, is the most patient, sweet woman. But she is always very concerned what the community thinks about her. And then she raised me. Let's take a moment and send prayers to my mother. I don't give a flying flip. And I'm pretty loud, and so people either love me or they hate me. And I have grown to just accommodate that and to understand that and to go with it. And it took my mother a few years, but she finally processed and thought, okay, well, I can see the advantages to her behavior. And actually, we just had a huge hiccup. Where one of my family members went through something very traumatic due to some malpractice stuff, and I had to step up and put on my little lawyer cap that I used to wear when I worked in the prison system, and I had to go into attack mode. And my family, bless their heart, they didn't have that within them. They looked at me and they were like, thank you so much. We couldn't have done that. We wouldn't have known where to start. Thank you. And I was like, we all have our roles to play. I'm just grateful I had the knowledge to know how to take care of that so that you all did not have to go through it. Be who you want to be. I think, I used to look and think that if I had it all together and I had a decent house, with a horse in the barn lot and weekends home with the kids, that life was great. And now I'm like, if I get through 3 months without a hospitalization where they tell me I'm going to croak, that would be awesome. But it makes me understand that there are so many things that are so precious that we don't think about until the picture becomes very microscopic. And we have to really become okay with ourselves. And I think he's going through something that it's forcing the perspective where he has to really look at himself and say, who am I? Who am I in relationship to other people? Who am I in relation to myself? Because how we treat ourselves is how we respond to other people. And I think he's making some changes, asserting some dominancy and saying, I get to have these boundaries, I get to have these rules, and I get to establish these parameters, and you must follow them. And that's not a bad thing. And just because you have a career and a little bit more money than most people, you don't have to be the good guy for everybody, and I think he's understanding that, and that doesn't make him the bad guy. Just because you're not the good guy, just because you're not Superman, doesn't make you Lex Luthor. Got a mold. But that's hard to learn when you're young, because you see everything so, you know, it's you don't see the spectrum. You just see the polarized ends. And so, you know, yeah, I'm not Superman today, but I'm not the villain. So I'm here. I'm okay. That's okay. We can't be Superman every day. And I think he's learned that. This was something I really enjoyed. I really see a lot of growth. I really see a lot of momentum in his life. I really see him working to make positive things happen. And I know that there's still some crap probably going on. And there's still some confusion that he has. And there's still some questions. But you know something? You're young. You're young. I think you have some good people with you. I think that you're learning how to fleece the people that surround you a little bit better, to understand motive. And I think that as you mold that into what it needs to be, you're just going to become more confident, and it's going to just blossom. So he's doing great. I love this video. It made me, as many bad days as I had, it made me feel good. It made me feel confident, and it made me happy. So it perked me up out of my sickness quite a bit. So I appreciate that. I like to see people excel. He's excelling, so I'm super happy. Where will the Nicole thing? I don't know. I don't know where it will go. I'm watching with everybody else. Hoping, wishing, praying. My thing is just take it day by day and try to find happiness in each day. And once again, if you start to feel old behaviors creep up, stop and say, what's triggering these things? Am I scared? What am I scared of? Well, I'm scared of this. How do I handle this if I'm scared of it? How do I approach fear? And a lot of dealing with fear is just learning to work through it. But a lot also of dealing with fear is learning how to properly identify it. Because a lot of people don't properly identify it. And a lot of people go through their lives fearing something that they actually think they're very good at. And it's why it completely trips them up. So that's a thought for another day. So, yeah. But this made me happy. I think he's doing good. I think he's growing. I think he's gaining wisdom. And I think in many ways he's far beyond his years. And yeah, there are going to be some gaps there. You can't excel at everything. You're going to have to, I'm sorry. You're going to have to be a dipshit in some areas in life. Just, if you're going to be this lyrical mastermind, you're going to have some times where you're completely bubble-brained. And you've got to have that balance. And, you know, I hope that all fans don't expect you, they don't see you and think that you've got to be this complete package and that you never have a stupid moment, or you never do a stupid thing, because life is probably about 20% stupidity. And I hope they understand that because we are so well adapted and so great at certain things, it does create gaps in other things. So, you know, we can all see that in ourselves. It happens to everybody, even happens to Ryan Upchurch people. So, you know, give the boy some credit. He's doing pretty good. And that is about how I felt about this. I'm terribly, terribly tickled with the transition that I've seen in the last year and a half. There's still things I would want him to work on. And I know he knows what those are. And I think he's going to get there. I think he's going to get there. And I hope I'm around to celebrate him. Fun fact, did you know that we actually shared the same birthday? Yeah. I'm way older. I was born like 13, 14 years before you. But we have the same birthday. So, you know, maybe I was just meant to be MommaLiz to the Creek Squad. I can think of worse things. MommaLiz out.